Here's another example on using a best fit line. Best fit lines can be used to estimate values that are not in the data. Recall that when we estimate values that are between known values, this is called linear interpolation. When we estimate a number outside the range of data, it's called linear extrapolation. The Monday after Thanksgiving, or Cyber Monday, has become one of the biggest days for online sales. The table shows US desktop online sales on Cyber Monday since 2009. Estimate the Cyber Monday sales in 2025. So we're going to take our calculator. We're going to enter the data from the table into the lists. We're going to let 2009 be represented as 0, and then the years since 2009 are the X values. The sales are the Y values. Next, we're going to graph a scatter plot by turning on the plots under the Stat Plot menu, choosing the scatter plot, using L1 for the X list and L2 for the Y list. So now I have my data in my lists right there. I'm going to graph my scatter plot. First, I'm going to turn on the plots. I hit second Y equals, that takes me to Stat Plot. So I can turn on plot 1. I have L1 for my X list, L2 for my Y list. I have chosen that it's a scatter plot and I've turned it on. Then I'm going to change my viewing window so that all the data are visible. And I'm going to hit zoom 9, which is zoom stat. And I hit enter, and I've got my scatter plot on my calculator. It's not very easy to see. This is a much better visual here. Next, I'm going to perform the linear regression using the data on the lists. And the equation it's going to give me is this right here, the correlation coefficient being 0.9935, which means the correlation means the equation models the data well. Now I have that on my calculator as well. So we'll go to the next step. Graph the best fit line. Press Y equals vars and choose statistics. From the EQ menu, choose Reg EQ, then press graph. So I'm going to hit Y equals, and then I'm going to hit vars, and then I'm going to hit statistics, which is number 5. I'm going to choose EQ, which is the third one to the right, and then I want Reg EQ, which is the very top one. And it puts the linear regression equation right into my calculator for me. Right, so I didn't have to type it in by hand, it did it for me. And then I'm going to hit graph, and again, you can't see it very well on my screen, but you can see here that it graphs it right there for us. Use the graph to predict the 2025 Cyber Monday sales. Change the viewing window to include the X value to be evaluated, which in this case will be 16. Also increase the Y max to accommodate the increasing Y values. Okay, now that I've adjusted my window, I did use the suggestion here of 5,500 for my maximum there. Now I'm going to find out what is my Y value when my X is 16. So it suggests hitting second calc and then entering 16. You can also just hit trace and hit the down arrow once, and that puts you onto your line. And then you just hit 16, and it takes you to it. But either way, okay, so now we are at 16 and we see that our Y value is about 4,850.7738 or 4,851. So we can estimate that the sales that day will be this big, huge number right here.